It's Tia. It's been a Mississippi minute, but we bite, baby.
What's up, Pink Posse? It's your girl, Ja. And yup, we back at it like a crack addict.
It's your girl, Jiggy, aka Tanika. Listen, pull up on us. It's time to cut up, because we back.
What's up, Pink Posse? It's your girl, Kogi, and we're back. Pink Sunday Radio.
Well, hello, everyone. We're back, y'all. We are back, except we're on what? Video. So I have my girl, Tia.
Hello.
Have my girl, Ja, down there. Hey, girl.
What's up, Pink Posse?
And I have my girl, Jiggy. What's up?
Hey, y'all. What's up?
Okay, so we're a little CPT today. Okay, but when you move audio to video, that happens, right? So thank you so much, Pink Posse, who held it down for us on YouTube comments. And we're gonna get started, you guys. Happy Pride, sending all you guys love and peace. And at the very beginning, top of the hour, we have our new Black icon of the week. Okay, and who is that?
Pink Sunday Radio celebrates Pride Month 2023 by highlighting Black queer icons in entertainment.
He's been called the father of Black gay cinema, and over the course of his career, he spearheaded groundbreaking work like Punks, Noah's Ark, and The Skinny.
As a queer kid growing up in the South, in the 80s, I found solace in television and film, and at a very young age, decided that's what I wanted to do. I think Spike Lee kind of came on the scene when I was in maybe junior high school, and that solidified, okay, that's what that life is, that's what that career is. I grew up on these amazing sitcoms that featured 4 really great women, of course, starting with the Golden Girls, then Designing Women, and eventually Sex and the City. And so I thought, I want to see a show like this, but about us. Noah? That became Noah's Ark. And what's great now is 15 years later, I have, young gay men in their 20s and telling me that, when I was 15 or 16, I discovered your TV show Noah's Ark. Mm-hmm. And it showed me, when I was confused and trying to figure out what my sexuality was, it showed me that there is a way forward. There's a way to be a happy, healthy, successful gay Black man contributing to society, to have love, to have children, to have a career. Mm-hmm. And that means a lot to me.
Patrick, one of the best. So that is our Black icon of the week. And so expect the same next week, okay? Let's move on to Ja's. Yes, indeed. JT and the Pink Posse said, shout out to Pat. So, Ja, you're going to be giving us our disclaimer before we get started, correct?
Correct as usual. So, the views and opinions expressed are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of any entities they represent. Pink Sunday Radio is rated mature for language and subject matter, so viewer and listener discretion is advised.
And that is for sure. I think we've made very clear that we do not hold back, okay? Mm-hmm. And we definitely mature language. So I want to let you guys know that since we are on video now, things are a little bit different. We don't too much interact with each other live chat like Blog Talk Radio. However, because we are streaming via Twitch, via YouTube and Facebook, as well as YouTube, y'all can get in the comments there and we see your comments here on StreamYard, okay? Twitter is a little bit different. Even though they don't come directly to us, still leave your Twitter comments and we will try to get over there and pull them from there as well, okay? So although it's a little bit different. And if you do want to join us, the link will be available. I think Tanika will get the link out there or whatever. You can use that link. Then that will bring you backstage, and then we'll see you backstage, and we will bring you in if you have anything you want to say. Okay. All right, cool. So that's what we wanted to let you know. All right. Okay, so we have some fun segments, you guys. Things are going to be a little bit different. Y'all are used to us just kind of going through everything scene to scene, but this time, no ma'am. We have some fun things. So 104, you guys, The Trap. We're going to do some ratings this time, okay? We're going to rate the episode. So what do you girls think? So what we thinking? Rate the episode.
Do one of y'all want to tell them?
I will tell them the ratings.
Okay.
I forgot that was me in my head. All right, so we've got 5 ratings. The first one is, and we did it in mics to kind of go with the PValley theme. So the first one is 1 mic, and that's Unk's Chicken and Dressing. The second one is 2 mics, and that's Sit on My Lap Slaw. The third one is 3 mics, and that's Ernestine's Neck Bones. Some might argue with that 3, but we gave it a 3. The fourth mic is Weed Wings or Lemon Pepper Wet, because y'all know Jiggy don't like lemon pepper, so we had to have Weed Wings in there, and that's 4 mics. And 5 mics is Murder Smothered Poke Chops, Candy Yams, Collard Greens, and Cornbread. So those are the ratings.
Can I just interject before we get started? Now, y'all know Ernestine Neck Bones. Wasn't that good?
They was better than the dressing and Sit on My Lap.
Now, wait a minute. You know, I was going to let it ride.
Sit on My Lap game.
But I ain't going to do it. You know what I'm saying? Sit on My Lap is a banger. I don't know what y'all are talking about. Where's the Sit on My Lap gang at?
Y'all really be
y'all in the chat.
Sit on My Lap.
I need to Sit on My Lap gang in the chat right now. Let us know where you at.
Okay, so as far as 104, because it's such a pivotal episode, like it's such a transitional episode, and I really love this episode, you guys. The way Mississippi was on the pole, the acting was great, the cinematography was great, jukebox was great.
Fighting for its life. Fighting for its life. Yes,
it was fighting for its life, baby. Yeah, I mean, it was A1. So I'm gonna have to go with a little pork chop, little candy yams. You know, I really am gonna have to get us a
5 whole mics. The highest rating you can give it?
Because I mean, 4 was what? What was 4? Put that back on the screen. What was 4?
4 mics is Weed Wings, lemon pepper, whichever you prefer.
That's right. Or lemon pepper wet.
I like, you know what? Okay, I'm gonna give it a 4. Because you know what? Yeah, because you know what? I'm gonna save my 5. So I'm gonna give it a 4. I'm gonna give it a 4 mics. I'm gonna give it a Weed Wing. Yeah,
I agree. That's what I got. I came through the lemon pepper. Because I don't like no savory nothing lemon. Get that off my plate. So and it's not Big L's weed. Was Big L making Weed Wings? I don't know. It's not his version of Weed Wings. It's Murder's Weed Wings. Like
right.
This episode is up there, probably top 5 for me, but not quite 5 mics. Like some real pivotal stuff happened this episode. Murder's life kind of started changing. Mississippi's life kind of started changing. So yeah, it's up there for me.
It's up
one
there.
Of the best. I haven't really counted out my top 5, but I think it would probably be in the top 5 if I had to do it.
Yeah, 100%.
So it's funny that you say you hadn't counted out your top 5, because I'm surprised at all these 4 mics, because I thought I was gonna be coming in as like the outsider with 4 mics, and I kept in my mind, it's like it should be a 5 mic episode, because so much great things happen, except for, of course, the Mercedes Patrice thing. But for some reason, I kept going back and I kept landing on 4 mics. And I do like lemon pepper wet. So my 4 mics is lemon pepper wet. But I was thinking I really wanted to sit down and go over like what my episodes were, because what would be a 5 mic episode? And we don't have time to discuss that now.
I know what my 2 5 mic episodes. I know my top 3. But
yeah, so I'm 4 mics too, lemon pepper wet.
Yeah.
So can I do a 4.5? Can I be like a wee wang with a little sweet, a little yam on the side?
Your pork chops. Okay.
Can I get creative?
You can give a little Thanksgiving dinner. Go ahead. You can give a little Thanksgiving dinner plate.
You know what I'm saying? Like this episode did a little something different for me. Like I really got to take it to that's my song. It made me choke up inside. You know what I'm saying? Like it made me feel something. You know what I'm saying? And then when that jukebox got assaulted, I was like, Jesus. You know what I'm saying? With the combo plate, you know what I'm saying? Because that 2-piece spicy that Mercedes gave her mama in that episode too. It was like, it started off a little bit, dry and egg ball. I was like, all right, that's cool. Then it eased up into some weed wangs. I was feeling high, but baby, by the end,
you was good.
Jams was coming through.
You was satisfied. Okay, let me ask you this. Since you did the combo plate, was it the type of episode that made you go to sleep? You know how the Thanksgiving plates be so good that you go to sleep after.
It was the kind of episode that made me do a little happy dance. When you get that good food and you be like,
oh, okay. But it ain't put you to sleep though. That's what I'm talking about.
Maybe after the 3rd time I watched it, but we don't talk about that. After that, I went to sleep on there. Like, Lee, that was a good night for sure.
Can't be giving it 5 full mics.
Okay.
I see why people would, because like I said, I had trouble trying to figure out if I wanted 4 or 5, but I was like, for some reason, I cannot give this episode a 5, and I love it. Like, this is an episode I can just watch. Like, I'm watching PValley today, and I could just go to this episode and watch it. It's one of those, but I don't know, but I see why people can give it a 5. You don't see it, Tanika?
For me, 5 mics is the best it can get. To me, there can only be maybe 2 or 3 at the most 5 mic episodes. It would have to be an episode that you would like put in your top 3 without hesitation. And to me, I mean, there's 4 or 5 episodes I would put above it. It might be in my top 5 if I went down the list, but it's not top 3. Like, I know the top
4 or 5 would be above this. You have like 5 episodes that would be above this one.
I can think of it 4.
I agree.
Yeah. Okay. Like, I love this episode, but it's not Snow to me. It's not.
Baby.
A good penultimate episode.
Well, that was one of my 5s, and that was my when it's not Snow, and Snow is definitely one of my 5 mic episodes.
Snow, not Last Call for Alcohol for me either.
So.
Last Call for Alcohol was good. Like, okay, I agree. Okay, cool.
You got to leave room for the ceiling. I get what you're saying.
Yeah, you do have to leave room for the ceiling. I agree.
If I was a teacher, I would be one of those teachers that don't give nobody A's. So I'm kind of like that with this.
You know what, ma'am?
Like, you got to work hard to get my 5 mics.
You know what, ma'am? See, you that teacher that people skip class.
Well, hopefully you don't need it to graduate. Because my grades are my greats.
Yeah, you that teacher that probably ain't gonna get that extra credit, girl. They'll go to her Miss Tia.
What's that? Do the work and go.
Yeah. Okay then. All right, we can move on. I think we got something else that's coming that's gonna be real fire.
Are you an everyday hustler? Are you always on your steady grind? Are you a Black storyteller that matters? Check out actor and philanthropist J. Alphonse Nicholson's signature apparel line at 5grinds.com and pick up a t-shirt, hoodie, and book bag and tell the world who you are. That's FIVE Grinds.com.
Oh,
Okay. PSR.
Okay. Little 5 grinds. Okay. I'm waiting. Y'all. I'm so excited for this big bag, this book bag. I don't think y'all understand. Because somebody who works in healthcare, all we do is carry book bags, lunch kits, wear scrubs. So I'm really excited for this drop. I need y'all to be coming through for my boy.
I don't have no reason to wear a book bag nowhere, but I will be wearing one.
But you will. But you will.
Figure out where to wear it.
Just
I don't always want to carry a purse. So let me get that book bag, and I'm gonna need some of them sweatshirts soon. So I'm gonna definitely be tapping in because
exactly
your girl is going to a different climate.
Oh, you are. It is hot here, girl. Hot.
Okay. It's probably going to be comfortable to me.
Oh, from Phoenix, yeah.
That's because of where we're at. So that temperature is still going to be a drop.
That's true.
I'm going to be rocking them steady grind hoodies and stuff.
It's going to be a drop in temperature. We're going to be out here like, oh my God. And you be like, what are y'all talking about?
Exactly.
Right. And like, it was hot. I'm like, no, it's still real comfortable around here. I'm
glad it's real comfortable. Okay, so look, like I told y'all, new segments. And I think last night, even on the timeline, Tanika, you brought it up, right? About devil's advocate, what other angle we can look at about this Pico murder situation. And so we got a new segment, you guys. Devil's advocate. All right. Murder and Pico. As we know, Murder goes over there in his Christmas tree colors, but he rocking Gucci. And
know what the fuck you talking about?
Right. I don't know what the fuck you talking about. I'm rocking Gucci. And you know, like now that I'm thinking about, like when I watched it last night, I was thinking about the whole devil's advocate and looking at it from a different perspective. And it's like, you know, CFC, do y'all think CFC is kind of like an older, established gang?
That's what Murder said. Murder said
you know what I'm saying? So being that that's the case, it's like, yeah, you gotta respect that young nigga. You know what I'm saying? You gotta respect that. But Murder is very ego driven, very like, shit, it is what it is, baby. I'm ratchet Gucci. I can come over here and all this kind of stuff, because in his mind, it's all about his music. In his mind, it's all about his grind and coming up. He's not even looking at the respect part. And so I think he was like, okay, cool. DJ Never Scared ain't gonna play it. I'm gonna find another angle, and that's Sadie's. Not even thinking about that line of respect. Maine stops him, and Pico is looking at the situation. And at first I was just like, okay, Pico, you need to relax. It ends up turning to a fight. But then I'm like, you know what? Pico was kind of looking out for him a little bit. Like maybe he was like, you know what? Like, yeah, he was disrespectful to you. I'm looking out for you. Like, I feel like if something would have jumped off over there, Pico would have bum rushed the place and shit probably would have beat up Maine. So I don't know. What y'all
about
think?
Pico beating up Maine?
Girl, okay.
I got questions. I like, why you swinging now? Them niggas was talking to you real crazy over there. And you told them niggas to have a nice night. But you come over here and now you swinging for what? What I said? I didn't say nothing. I mean, the street said you everybody's punk. I was just relaying the message. I ain't do nothing. Why you swinging on me?
Ooh, wait a minute.
You didn't have no beef for them. You didn't want no smoke with a rival gang. They was talking to you wild crazy in front of Mercedes. And you walked away like it wasn't nothing and came and sat down in your seat. I'm not understanding why you mad now all of a sudden. What happened? What I said? I didn't do nothing. Why you swinging?
My devil's advocate for this situation is, you know how we talked about how Pico was shocked when Murda like swung. Mm-hmm. So they know they mamas, they sisters, they babies and stuff. So it sounds like they've been like A1s for a long time. So I feel like Pico wasn't like trying to son Murda. I feel like Pico was like, well, I'm hearing about your sexuality on the streets and not like, you my boy, we done grown up together, we done all this, why I have to hear about this on the streets? And this is finally him saying like, what's up, why you haven't told me? And that's why he was so shocked when Murda punched him, because he's thinking they about to have like a man-to-man, boy-to-boy, like, hey, you should have told me, instead of just like hiding it this whole time. And then when Murda reacted the way he did, that's why Pico ended up doing what he did, because he was truly hurt. Like, he wasn't trying to son Murda. It was like, what's up, you my boy, why are you keeping secrets like this from me? So that's my devil's advocate for this situation.
I've been trying real hard. Y'all know I got Murda back no matter what. But I will say my devil's advocate point of view is that, coming from Pico, like you said, we're in a gang. This is what we do. Them niggas disrespected. So I'm on go. I'm ready to rep my set. I'm ready to go in for the rest of the gang. You know what I'm saying? And you want me to sit down like a punk ass bitch. And I ain't even on that type of timing. You know what I'm saying? Because we got to walk down these streets in Chucalissa. And when it get out that they signed us up in the club, they going to be checking like, nigga, come on. You know what I'm saying? Yep. So I will, as Tia say, shoot Pico that type of bill. Like, he was doing what a young, spicy gang member should be doing. He's ready to defend they colors, they set, they whatever. And Murda was on some other bullshit that he didn't explain. Right. So that's the best I can do.
Right, because I mean, his leg was shaking and shit. Like, I was like, damn.
He was mad. He was hot.
He was mad.
He was ready to swear up, you know.
Do you think he was more mad at them sonning Murda, or more mad that Murda walked away and didn't actually do nothing?
You know what? Or was he more mad that Murda didn't bring him with him?
Well, I think going over there was it's just so happened Mercedes happened to be over there, because it wasn't an intention to go
over there.
PFC. Yeah, he just wasn't really thinking after he tried to gaslight my baby Daquan like they be doing. DJ always there. So he, in that spur of the moment, was trying to get a plan together when Daquan was like, you better ask her yourself. So, because when you see him when he comes from the DJ booth, he kind of looks over like, okay, what I'm gonna say, where I'm gonna talk to her, because you know, as far as Mercedes, this is trapper rapper that raps in cursive. Like, this ain't no like I just easily go talk to her. They don't have the type of relationship. So he like, there she go. Okay, I'm gonna go talk, and just goes over. Like, he probably almost didn't even see Maine in them, because all he's thinking about is I gotta get Mercedes to dance to this song. And then because if you saw when Maine was like, wait, he looking like, oh shit, CFC.
Yeah,
CFC,
he did.
CFC.
He did.
I feel like he saw, man, because he stepped over that damn rope. You don't see that rope? You stepped over it. You saw them niggas over there.
That. Quita said in real life that would have been an ass whooping. Stepping over that rope like that.
It was wild disrespectful. Where you going?
It was.
Yeah. He did walk up a little aggressive too. He didn't just kind of walk up casually like, hey, Mercedes, let me talk to you. He walked up like, hey, yo, Mercedes.
Yeah, he did.
You know,
he did.
It was a lot.
It was very.
It wasn't much. It wasn't much.
Listen, Tia.
It should have been his ass for real.
It was very wait a Mississippi minute, wasn't it?
It was. Which takes us into our next segment.
Yes, ma'am. It was very wait a Mississippi minute. So besides that little moment, wait a Mississippi minute, was there any other parts in the episode, any other moments in the episode where you were like, hold up, wait a Mississippi minute? Now, I will say my wait a Mississippi minute last night, maybe I'm wrong, and I definitely want to ask our interviewee today, Tamra Davis, because last night, upon first watch, I did not realize that was a vision with Sadie's and the realtor. And Terica and the girls were dancing, and then it pans to Terica's face. She makes that face. Then it goes to the trophy case, and then there's nobody there. And then it kind of goes to Sadie's and the realtor having that conversation. Now, for me, I was just like, oh my God, that was a vision for her of what that space would look like. And everybody on the timeline was like, wait, what? Wait a minute. What?
I never noticed that until you said it.
And for me, I'm like, wasn't that the case? Like, everybody asking me, and I'm like, wait, am I crazy?
I think
like, y'all jumped in me. I was like, wait.
Didn't.
Huh?
Like, I think I noticed it, but I didn't. Every time I see the scene, because they're dancing by the trophy case, right? And then I like subconsciously I remember it goes from them dancing to now it's like nothing in the building. It's like basically abandoned, and then a trophy case. So subconsciously, yeah, but like when you said it, we like, but like it's pretty clear.
Yeah. That's what it is. I was like, Tanika was like, what? Tanika was like, what? And then I was at home going, bitch, wait. Like last night I was at home going, oh, well, bitch, maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I didn't see it. No. She had me questioning my mental. Like, okay, cool. So that was my way to Mississippi Minute. Like that whole scene. So that was actually good direction by Tamra. Like just that whole moment. That was good. So what about y'all?
So my way to Mississippi Minute is kind of a question because I don't know much about this, but my way to Mississippi Minute was for Sinclair. I'm not sure why she doing too much, not minding her business. She did a lot of crazy stuff as a realtor for me this episode, but I've never purchased like a business property. So is this normal for the realtor to be like, yeah, your business plan ain't working. That's not it. You need to fix that. Like, shouldn't she be asking, can you pay the mortgage? Like, I don't understand what's happening here and if this is normal.
I don't know. So in any of my purchases, I've never had a realtor ask me these type of questions. Now, and I don't know, like Chuckley's a small town, but it seems like people don't be knowing people though, even as small as it is. I think that was her way of maybe like trying to figure out if she can pay the mortgage. Like, but she's doing it like all the wrong ways instead of like, hey, can I get some pay stubs? Like the stuff that normal people do. So she's asking her because she's probably thinking, well, I don't know if they had a conversation because it really don't matter what Mercedes is buying it for. Like, it don't matter if it's a restaurant, a dance club, an event space. It don't matter as long as she can pay the mortgage. So that's what I was like, because obviously Mercedes has the money, but like, are there other checks that balances besides like, so what you using it for? Like, because as long as she can pay it, it don't matter what she's using it for. So no, you're not crazy. The realtor did a lot of crazy shit to me this episode.
And if Mercedes said she was using it for something like Sinclair didn't think would be a good business, would she not get the property even if she had the money? Like, I'm not understanding the line of questioning. Why does it matter what she's using it for?
I don't think realtors overtly do that, but I'm sure that like covertly, if they don't like what a particular business represents or something like that, or they don't think it's a viable business, they may pick a different, like if she thinks the restaurant is more viable than a dance studio, I could see her picking the restaurant person over the dance studio, but that's not something she would be overtly doing like in front of Sadie's.
Right.
Like that's something when you're looking at the applications, okay, this restaurant person has the money, this dance person has the money. I think this is a more viable business.
So do you think that's why, because she called Mercedes down there to the property, is that why she gave it to Patrice? Because she thought maybe the church is a more viable business than whatever Mercedes was doing? Because I was like, why would you call her down here to come bring the check and then give the business away to someone else 5 minutes before she got there?
Well, I didn't think that, but now that you say that, probably because I said that on timeline last night. I was like, you text her to midnight. It's not midnight. Why wouldn't you, like, let's say Patrice, you don't know they know each other, but
Right.
if Patrice got there and it's like, hey, I want to buy it, it should be, well, you got to wait till 12:01 because my original buyer, I gave her to midnight. If she's not here by midnight, it's yours. But this whole transaction, this is where I think the realtor, now this is not my Wait a Mississippi Minute, but this is where I think the realtor like was crazy because like you said, why even call her if you was like, if anybody could walk in off the street and buy it, because you haven't had half the as much conversation, little conversation as you have with Mercedes about her financials. You've had even less with Patrice. Like, did Patrice come with papers? Like, what happened in this transaction?
She didn't have no papers when she was getting her ass whooped, so I doubt it.
She did not.
Girl, ma'am.
Not even so much as a church pamphlet.
Not a church pamphlet. So my Way to Mississippi Minute, and I said it on the timeline last night. I don't know why I just noticed it this time like that, because again, subconsciously I've seen this so many times. But when Uncle was like, "Ooh, this is my new little Trinity," and the way Sip was like, we're duo now, salt and pepper. It was like, I don't know why it hit me like that. It was like, oh no, we don't know that bitch. She not dancing with us. No. And it's just how quick it was. I don't know why it caught me, but that was my Way to Mississippi moment.
And the way that Gidget wasted 2 hours on Haley Savage. Baby, that was
something later, didn't she?
Baby, that was so sad. I said that last night. I said, oh my God, Gidget wasted some real valuable skills dealing with that girl. She could not make it up that pole. I mean, it was just a waste of time for me. So,
but you know what I noticed is I noticed why this was a waste of time. Because Gidget says flying is about trust.
Right.
And we can't trust Haley ragged ass, and Haley can't trust nobody. This bitch was never gonna fly.
That's it.
Yep.
That's
Peter
it right
Pan
there.
Came with Tinkerbell and the goddamn fairy dozen hands was still going.
That's it, John.
Okay.
That's it. But you know what's so crazy is how eventually Mississippi and Haley in the end ended up being like this. You know, it was like, girl, we a duo now, but baby, in the end, y'all was a duo.
Do you think they was like this? I don't.
I think they was like this.
I'm just saying they were a duo. You know what I'm saying? Not that it worked out, but I'm just saying in the end, that's the person that was trying to help her. She didn't dismiss her. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. That's what I'm saying. It didn't work.
That Sip ever had a real problem with Haley? We know Mercedes and her didn't really get along, but it seemed like Sip was pretty neutral. Like, this new girl and it's whatever. I mean, except for when they were at the bail, like, who invited her? But for that's all I've really seen as far as Sip. So I don't think she knew what to feel. So she didn't have bad feelings when we get to season 2.
I agree. Yeah. It's kind of like when a new girl come to school and you just really don't have no feelings about them. You just like, I mean, that ain't a bestie. Yeah, ain't a bestie. I ain't got no problem with her, but baby, she ain't invited to the slumber party.
She can't sit with us.
Yeah, she can't, but I ain't got no beef with her. I mean, you know. So, John, what's your Way to Mississippi Minute?
So I'm struggling between, 2 big moments, and I'm like, which one really had me like? So I'm gonna go with my original from like the first time I watched it. And my Way to Mississippi Minute happens when so they come in. And Murder's acting a little timid and everything. He come in and get up against the door like, I don't know what we're doing here. And then he just ran my sis into this goddamn table. And I was like, what is this Mississippi Minute? Why are you manhandling my good sis? Then he power slapped the ass and he jerking her around. What happened to little Murders against the door? Like, I don't know. how I got here. And
but that, I don't know how I got here was real quick, like though, because he was like, he looked out the door.
He looked around like,
and was like, so, that's it.
This my moment. Me, you, and this jukebox. It's been a rumble.
They had to put that jukebox on the run.
The squabble.
Oh my God. See, but that's how he found out what her favorite song was. You know what I'm saying? Because the jukebox.
That jukebox, and it played automatically. It was like, this my song.
I like the core memory for that jukebox.
Can I throw a side
that's murder? Listen, I know what to play for my baby.
That's what I'm saying. That's how he knew it was up. That's how he knew at the finale, baby. He knew what song to play and stand by that jukebox. And then when she was looking to remember, he was dancing with grandmother and gave him eyes. Yeah, he knew what he was doing. Ooh, murder is a sick motherfucker.
I think on the timeline last night, for a few people, the way to Mississippi moment was, I saw this question a few times. Now, how the fuck Uncle Clifford know that little murder was still on the premises in the back? Like, you get kicked out the club, don't you go to fuck home? You don't go sit and cry behind the club. You know what I'm saying? So I'm in that room, hosting, she doing her thug thizzle, you know what I'm saying? She here falling, crank down, and all of a sudden her telepathy kick in, and she like, this nigga in the back.
I think that she may have looked for him.
She probably was walking around a little bit.
Probably walked around because I don't know. Do you think she saw him fight?
I was gonna ask, do you think she knew he got put out?
But wouldn't Diamond say something like, yo, it was a little situation in the main floor?
Like Diamond throw niggas out of there all the time.
Had to get
doing the door and stuff. So
I had to get that cheap grill nigga up out of here. I told you not to let him in. You know what I'm saying? With cheap grill and creamy colors on.
Cheap ass grill.
I know Diamond was like, yeah, I'm gonna whoop this ass off.
Or I break your fucking mouth, nigga.
Wait a Mississippi minute, because that was good.
Oh my God.
Now, was it you, Tanika, that said you thought Wody would low-key, high-key whoop Diamond's ass here?
Wody hesitated at that door for a minute and gave Diamond a long
He did.
And I ain't seen Diamond beat nobody ass yet. So my money would have been on Wody.
Oh, yeah, because Derek.
Well, he was slamming niggas a little bit in 209, though. But he was clearing the flow. He was clearing
the one head-up fight we seen with Derek, it wasn't.
Derek gave him a little go.
He wasn't losing, but he wasn't winning.
Quiet as it's kept, Big Bone kind of beat his ass outside the pink also.
That's what I'm saying. He not as skilled as they make it out to be. And I
can anybody fight at the pink? Like,
maybe
anybody whoop anybody ass?
Maybe he's more skilled with weapons than with his
I agree. Yeah,
because he was in the army.
Yeah, and I think he can shoot a motherfucker up, but I think Wody, you know what I'm saying, the way he working with dead people, I think he can hit a motherfucker and kill him. Murder didn't get put out. He chose to go outside. That's his club. Shut up, Funky.
From episode 1 on, Murder really did whatever the hell he want to do in his club. Like he know
where everything is.
Go where he want to go. Come busting in the kitchen, stepping over ropes. He do whatever the hell he want to do.
Crazy. You're right. You're right about that. Well, okay then, child. We got one more second, so we gonna move on.
Hey PValley family, make sure you're also tapping into our Noah's Ark rewatch every Tuesday at 10 p.m. Eastern. Details will be on both our Twitter and IG pages. Make sure you're following us and use hashtag Noah's Ark rewatch.
Okay, so y'all already know, what does Unc call Mercedes? His what? Her what? I'm sorry, her what?
The bottom bitch.
The bottom bitch. So, who do y'all think was the bottom bitch of episode 104?
I guess I'll start.
Yeah, I'll let you start this time, Ja.
I feel like the bottom bitch of this episode was that motherfucking jukebox. Okay,
Girl,
that jukebox held it down. Okay,
I was not
fighting for
expecting
his
that
life.
answer.
I was not expecting
wrong.
you to say that. The jukebox is an inanimate object.
I had
guys.
not included the jukebox in my characters because I might have chose her if I had.
Okay, so
I didn't know we was doing
the
inanimate
jukebox
objects.
or
I
the
thought we was
desk.
thinking the
Either
That's
people.
a good choice, though. I like that.
Yeah,
I like that.
I ain't wrapped too tight.
I
So.
think it's the best choice.
That's a good job.
All right, you want me to come up with a person? Circle back.
No, that's
No.
not.
Keep it at the jukebox. Keep
If
going.
y'all agree with me, I need to see that in the comments. Is the jukebox the bottom bitch of the episode?
The
Get your
jukebox
comments going.
is the bottom bitch. You're right.
Yes,
That's a great
one or the
choice.
other. They kind of tied up there. For
You said the
bottom
bottom.
bitch
That or what?
The desk. The desk.
Oh.
When,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The desk took a licking.
We don't talk about that desk enough.
Us little lace number when Murder ripped it.
Yeah. And that little stringy top, baby.
He didn't have to rip that little lace number like that.
He really tried to get all her clothes off. Like all of it. Hold on.
We know why she couldn't do nothing but put on that robe in the next one. Because he tore up all her damn clothes.
Fucked out her wig and everything.
But you know what? Them shoes too, because them shoes held up. Them platform heels held them together.
No, but
that
I think
squabble she was in.
But I think honestly, I think that whole scene just shows how much Murda wanted good sis. Like it really did. Yeah, it really. Yeah, he was hungry.
He was hungry. Get them pork chops and them yams.
Like, girl, just stop. I really feel like.
Okay, I'm
you know, he making. Woo, child, but him making Fallen. Like, I think baby boy really fell for good sis and hadn't even
paradise room.
One knob slob.
And we still not clear about what exactly.
That's what I'm standing by it. That's what happened.
Knobs were slobs.
Like corn on
We're still not clear on that. But something and baby Murda was just waiting. So that whole scene just showed how much he craved my good sis, and we love that. We love that for her. Okay. Woo, child. Okay, so my bottom bitch I feel like was Sippy. Mississippi, because I feel like it was just her time to shine and she stepped up. You know, so much emphasis was always put on Sadie's being the bottom bitch, and I feel like she has so much going on outside of the club, and the club for her is freedom, and just seeing her be able to spread her wings and with grace like that, and her being able to finally enjoy the light, I feel like, yeah, she's my bottom bitch, like hands down this episode. So
I was torn between Mississippi and Murda for the bottom bitch.
Okay.
Mississippi started the episode to me in such a vulnerable place with all the bullshit that Freckles was over there talking. For her to end the episode kind of as Uncle Clifford's bottom bitch now. You know, she's the best dancer in the club. Her life is pretty much changed with this song and the way the audience react to it. I was really thinking about making her the bottom bitch, but Murda did a lot. A lot happened for Murda this episode. So Murda has to be my bottom bitch of the week. He finally has a song that's not slaw. Thank God.
He ain't never had no slaw.
Here we go. Sit on my lap, gang.
It was KFC slaw. You know, it was a little sweet. It was good, not too. All right,
I
never mind.
You
love
can eat a couple
KFC
bites of
slaw.
KFC slaw, but it's not.
I feel like
Yeah.
you disrespecting KFC slaw because
Girl, KFC slaw
All
is so
coleslaw is nasty.
good.
Let's be for real.
yeah, I feel like you being very disrespectful.
You got choices. You're not really choosing KFC slaw.
Well, I don't really like coleslaw, but I'll eat KFC
That's why
coleslaw.
it's slaw. It's nasty.
It's the
Well,
best.
that makes sense.
That's why we call it slaw.
Sit on my lap. If they're the same level of slaw.
Sit on my lap, gang. Help me out here. What's happening? Y'all gotta have my back.
So I'm gonna have to do a job, and I think I'm gonna have to tie mine because I'm like, hold on.
Y'all gonna get
Come
off.
on, Kendra. Come on,
That
man.
reminds me of the time Kendra said they got Slaw Avengers now.
Get off that top.
I cackled for a good few minutes on that one. I almost have to tie Murda and Sip because it's hard. So for me, I said on the timeline, the 180 Sip did from like that sitting in the dressing room and telling Mercedes, like, this is what you do. Only thing that I have is being pretty and being like, to me, completely dejected. Like, and you're like sitting there looking at this beautiful, gorgeous, doll-like woman. And to see her, like Jiggy said, like so broken, so vulnerable, so just not seeing herself, to go to actually have the courage, you know what? So I'm just gonna make it Sip. To actually have the courage, like to go in Mercedes' place, because the only people that spoke up was Toy and her bubble guts ass. And everybody else looked like, when it's like, who gonna go on? They're like, not me, not me, not me.
Yep.
Toy like, I got it. Oh wait, I don't. So for what we have seen up until this point with Miss Mississippi, for her to be like, I'll do it. Like, to me, the type of courage that took for what I feel like the mental and emotional space she was in at that point. And then she went out there and killed it and has the wherewithal to go and take advantage of it with the social media. Because to me, I feel like she's scared to death doing all this, but she did it. So that has to be my bottom bitch, because that 180 and just the courage to be like scared to death, like I know she was, but like, hey, nothing beats a failure but a try. Let's do it. Like,
seriously.
Mess up. I'm still finna dance tomorrow. I'm still gonna be on deck. Like, I'm not gonna get fired. So let's see. And then to totally capitalize on it, I thought, yeah, it's absolute perfection. Murda did some good stuff too, but like, you know, and I love how he, like, when my good sis came out and was like, prove it then, I don't even know if she got then out.
He was ready. Say less.
I ain't heard no then, baby.
And swaying them shoulders. You know, he had that shoulder.
Oh my God.
Behind her. And I said, wait, because I'm still trying to figure out what my good sis was saying. And all of a sudden, walking, I was like, oh, that's what she's saying. Got it. Okay. It was so quick. So that might nudge Murda up a little bit, but Sip got to take it for me this episode.
I would say if I picked a person, I agree. Mississippi really gave it what needed to be gave, because I was amazed when I saw her up on that pole. She was majestic. She was graceful. And she was just awe-inspiring in her moment. So most definitely, I have to agree with y'all on that.
So my question is, what was Toy finna do if she went out there and placed a Mercedes?
Because she wasn't finna get up on no pole with her.
She don't get on the pole. So what exactly is about to happen when you go out here?
She was.
Y'all gotta be like,
ooh, tomato.
They was gonna throw some more weave at her like they threw it on the Clifford.
It was gonna be wave wangs all up and down the stage. Weave wangs, lemon pepper wings.
Y'all gotta get off Toy's top. Leave my baby Toy alone.
They disrespected her at the beginning of this episode too with freckles.
They did.
And when he threw the money down and pick it up, we'll just get Toy to come get it. Wait, what? Wait a Mississippi minute. Why is Toy the gold money getter? What is happening right now? And it was like nothing. Like, we'll just get Toy to go get it.
So
let's go say
like you made me think about something. They kind of treat, I want to say it's peanut butter. Is it peanut butter or is it that they always like she's like, you ain't got no money. They kind of treat her like she don't really be getting her coins. So I'm agree. How Toy wind up being the money sweeper? Are they trying to say our good sis is borderline on the sweeper energy?
I think the fact that she don't get on that pole, what they trying to say, I don't know. I think the fact that she doesn't get on the pole contributes to it, because is she the only one? Because extra does, peanut butter does. She doesn't
get on the pole, and she's considered a pink all-star. So they probably like, how are you like in the group with us, and you like what you do and what we do ain't no kind of equivalent.
Yep.
Why?
Oh, crazy.
Like, I'm sure that's how they feel. But I remember when I first saw that, I was like, wait, why Toy the money getter? Like, what is going on? I was so shocked and appalled. So they don't respect Toy. So maybe that's who should have been up there with Gidget getting lessons.
Yeah, why they ain't taught sis nothing in all this time?
I feel like she's afraid of heights. She gotta be
not afraid of heights.
Why you not on the pole? Like, it has to be a legitimate reason for her not to be on the pole. I feel like she's been in the club for some years, so you would have had to learn something in that time, gain some upper body strength to hold yourself up on the pole. So it has to be a reason.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's just because she just don't bring in the money. You know, she just don't bring in the money like the other girls. So if you
farting on niggas' laps, how you supposed to? Like what? He was farting on them in there. Murder that came in there and told us this. The dude, his homeboy, was like, "Yo,
she farted on my nigga's lap last night."
So it's breaking wind. She eating people food. So if I would tip you a 20 and then you eat 2 of my wings, I'm gonna have to take a few dollars back.
You know what? She probably would have been gone a long time ago anywhere else, but because Unc loves and want to take care. That's why she in debt so much, because she just want to take care of everybody in the community, and anywhere else, Toy would have been gone by now.
She ain't listening to her own rule. You can't save every hoe. Well, she be trying. She be trying.
I don't understand what that means, Chunky. Why she might be the new girl before Autumn?
She might be the new
she might have been the new girl before Autumn. She the last one in.
But I don't know, because the way they talk, it really feels like Toy has been there for a long time. Like, I don't know. I just didn't feel like when Unc said, get out of here, sickly bitch. Like,
well, they've been there long enough to know her ass stay in the toilet, and now she's sneezing all over every damn thing.
How often do y'all think the paint gets new girls? Like, when they
That's the thing. I don't like. Toy might be the last girl in since Autumn, but I feel like
that might be like years ago. Yeah, that might have been years. That's what I was thinking to myself, because we have a club here in Atlanta called Strokers that has an amateur night. But usually you'll see like 1 or 2 of the girls like in the club at some time later, like that one or something like that. But we never saw, except for Autumn. That's only because she asked. Like, she asked and was like, hey, how do I work here? Because it seemed like they all just come, do the booty battle, get they 50 ducats and a hot plate and go home, and no one's actually trying to work there. Maybe that's somebody's hustle. We go get our 50 ducats and a hot plate every week, but we don't actually want to dance at the Paint. But I don't feel like the Paint gets a lot of new girls, because the way that they have that audition around the corner, it don't seem like it's something that happens often.
Maybe they just ain't got the skill level. Like, they go in there and do they 1-2 step. Because I mean, Haley did not really do enough to be like, hell yeah, sign her up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So maybe them other girls know they like Haley's like, she a go-getter. I'm gonna have to give her that. So she was like, yeah, I could barely pop my back, but I'm gonna try to see if I can stay. Some other hoes that came in there, they was like, damn, we lost. So obviously I'm not good. Let me go and see if I could work down there at Taffy's or over there at Vail Bond or somebody.
I still hate that we did not get to see Blue Strawberry, but that's neither here or there.
You know what? I bet you Blue Strawberry was working it.
Y'all
You
got the
got
wrong
to
names. It's
scroll
Blue cinnamon.
Blue
We're
Cinnamon
gonna
and
keep going
Strawberry
because our
and
interview is here.
Alizé. I need to see Alizé's move because they said the last girl with that name.
Yeah,
So I want to know what this girl did. You know
exactly. But guess what, everyone? Without further ado, our special guest has joined us. And so I'm so excited about this because she is the director of 104, Miss Tamra Davis, and she is a critically acclaimed director. Thank you so much for coming to the show, Miss Tamra Davis. We really do appreciate it. I have been looking over your work, and ma'am, I am just I don't think you understand how much of a hip hop connoisseur I am. And when I saw Cha 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 by MC Light,
I know I got to do that. Isn't that amazing?
That is amazing.
I was like, not the iconic Cha Cha Cha. Oh my goodness.
Oh, right.
So welcome
to the show.
Thank you so much. Thank you guys. How are y'all?
We're
great.
Great.
We're great. So tell the audience about yourself a little bit. Introduce yourself.
Well, I mean, I'm so grateful to be here because I loved my time at the Pink. So I'm like, anytime I get an invitation to come to the Pink or anything associated with the Pink, I'm like, count me in. I want to go. Yeah, I don't know. I'm a director. I started doing music videos. And then I did like a lot back in the day, so it was like in the prime 90s, like whatever. And I did like some kind of hip hop videos, like Tone Loc, Wild Thing and Bust a Move and Funky Cole Medina, and like those kind. But then I also got to work with NWA, and I did the DOC videos, and I made a short film with NWA, and I did yeah, I know. I worked with those guys a lot. That was pretty crazy. I don't know. I did CB4, which was kind of like a
cult classic.
Cult classic. Yeah, a parody of all the rap stuff that I'd been working on. Yeah, and I did movies after I did videos, and I did Billy Madison, CB4, Half Baked, Crossroads, Best. I don't know, just like.
Wow.
Crazy. Like I made about at least 10 features.
Mm-hmm.
And then I started to do TV, and I've been so grateful and lucky with all the TV shows that I've done. Yeah, I'm just like I'm so grateful that I got the opportunities to work, and the people that I got to work with is just a lot of times I do first time things. So yeah, my instinct and the people that I get excited to work with. So yeah.
That's very impressive.
Did you start at film school? Did you start there?
Yeah, I went to film school. I went to like a little college here called LA City College. It was free. It was like $50 a semester. So it wasn't.
Wow.
Yeah.
$50?
Yeah, a semester. Yeah, because I was like, I didn't grow up with money, and I don't know. I went to the local city college, and I think it was really a good experience because all the people that were there were also just like regular people. So when I made films, I could play them in front of just regular folks and see what worked. And I knew who my audience was. It wasn't just like a bunch of, I don't know, like at that time it was, my other choices were USC and UCLA. And I was just like, those are just like a bunch of, sorry to say, like white dudes. I was like, I did not belong there.
I mean, it's true.
Yeah. So I was like, I didn't belong there. I just didn't have a voice there. So the community college was awesome for me. Yeah.
So I saw that you did a cooking show. I was on YouTube, like looking for your interviews and things. Is the cooking show something that you did in order to get comfortable in front of the camera or to kind of learn how to be a director? What was the motivation for that?
You know, I'd done a lot of music videos and features, and then I was in my mid to late 30s and I wanted to have a baby, and I hadn't had a baby yet. And so, like, man, when you're a woman and you're like pushing to getting close to 40, it's like, oh my God, I better like figure this out. So I took time off and I had kids with my husband at the time. And I was like, I had 2 kids and I was kind of at home and I was trying to still define myself as a filmmaker. And I thought it was the early days of the internet. And I was like, well, I'm cooking a lot at home and I'm really into nutrition. And I don't know, I have all these good recipes. So I made like, and I shot it all myself. So I did like this during the day, I would film myself and with my kids and I'd make these like, you know, whatever cooking shows. And then I would edit them at night and I would post them. And yeah, it was like super early days of the internet. So I was like, I had one of the first internet cooking shows and I wrote a cookbook and it became like, it was really popular, like millions of views back in the day. And I was on it was just interesting, but it gave me a lot of experience in how to not only filming myself, which you can, if you ever watch it, you can see like I'm not one of those kind of people that's like on the camera being like, hello, welcome. You know, I'm not. So it's very observational, but it gave me all this. It showed me how to film and how to just like get your camera out, set it up, make your shots. So like real filmmaker, girl filmmaker skills. And from that, when I tried to get back into filmmaking, which is really big, like after having kids, like you basically have to reinvent yourself and try to get back in.
Very true.
So I had happened to have all this footage that I shot years ago of an artist that was my best friend at the time, this guy named Jean-Michel Basquiat. It's like a painter who amazing, like, you know, culturally like the best person ever. And so I'd made this documentary with him, but then when he died, I like kind of put it in my closet. And so at this time I thought, man, if I just like take that footage out of my closet and just make a documentary, I had the confidence that I could just film it myself. So so then I did a documentary and that kind of helped get me back into filmmaking again and get my name out there and stuff like that.
Okay.
Wow.
So you started out with music videos, then you went to film, then television. Did you just happen into music videos, or was that like a plan because it was maybe a little easier to break into at the time than film and television?
Yeah, you know, when I got out of film school, I had like a lot of confidence. So, you know, I had like super confidence, but basically I was just like 23 years old or 24 years old. And at the time, this is like 35 years ago or more, I was basically like laughed at. Like nobody was looking for a 24-year-old girl director. Like it was just like they thought I was ridiculous. And it was kind of sad. But I had on that, this like I had my whole like, you know, whatever, my whole proposal. And I was like, my script, this is like, and these are the bands that I want on my soundtrack. And I had made a music video for one of those bands because it was kind of an unknown band. And I got called in from a record company and they were like, hey, what's up with this video? And I thought I was in trouble. And then instead they said, can we give you money? We want you to make a video for this band to look exactly like that. And I'd been shooting in Super 8 because of my film school. So it had this like really that handheld shaky camera, grainy style. But at the time in the music video world, nobody had seen anything like that. So I had a new style. And and I was able to break into the music video world as a young woman at that age because I had a cool look, you know, and that look now, of course, at the time though, nobody wanted their films or videos to look like home movies. It was like, don't make, you know, it's all stupid. And I came in like kind of handheld, edgy, like it punk rockish kind of style. And then it became like a big style and a big look. And so I was able to use that and start to get a job and get accepted into a world that definitely was not open at the time to young women.
Okay. So like a combination of both. You happened into it, but then saw it was like
Exactly.
I happened into it only by default because I was basically, definitely shut out because of being who I was in the filmmaking world. And so in music videos was kind of still pretty new, like, there were the main dudes that did the big rock videos, but there were all these like bands that nobody had ever heard of, but they needed videos, and so I was able to kind of come in there and work and do all these videos for bands that I loved. And that's how things like, MC Light and I did so many, like I have to look because I did 150. So sometimes I'll look back and be like, oh my God, I don't even remember that. It's like bad. Like it was like,
I'm sure that's a crazy feeling. Like I did that. Really I did.
When you totally don't remember, you're like, oh my God, like just a vague memory comes back. You're like,
So because when I saw you did From a Distance, Bette Midler,
right?
I was like,
what? I know, really varied. Like I got to do an Etta James video or a Lou Reed.
Oh my God.
Like I did like big, huge videos and also like super cool little videos. Yeah. It was really at the best time. And I kind of liked that I wasn't boxed into doing one style. And I really tried so hard to do different styles so that I didn't become like, well, she only does rap videos or she only does like videos. I really tried to do different things because I listened to different music myself. The only thing that was required is it's just the way I work. I seriously have to love the job. I've found with myself, I can't do a job unless I really love like the people and people I collaborate with. Yeah, it has to be. It's authentic. It's true love.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
So is of the things that you've directed, the music videos, the television shows, and the movies, is there any one that you prefer? If you could only ever do one again, is there one that you would pick?
In honesty, there's no difference. Like my job is kind of the same. It doesn't matter what it is. When I go to work, that's my position, but my job is, to really get the best performance out of the artist. It could be whether it's whoever that is, there's always a talent, so it's really my connection to the talent and making sure they feel comfortable and give their best performance. And also my ability to work with the crew and figure out like what their strengths are and how to talk with those people and how to, move the set along and, have a good schedule and a good plan. So it's honestly always, it's kind of it's the same thing. And it also doesn't even matter sometimes how much money you have. Like sometimes I have a lot of money and sometimes I don't have a lot of money, but you don't go into it thinking like, woohoo, now let's have, milkshakes at lunch or something. Like it's just, it's the job is the same. It doesn't matter how hard it is. Yeah.
You've been pretty lucky to not even be holding in film because like your first film was Gun Crazy and then you went from Gun Crazy to CB4 and I was like, okay. So as different as those are, what did those two, like as different as they were, what did you learn kind of equally from both of them being they were so close together?
They were so different. Gun Crazy was an indie movie. It was my first movie. I agreed to, I made it in 23 days. It starred a young Drew Barrymore. It was like, she was just kind of getting accepted back into the world again. Like at the time, people really kind of, like whatever. She was like the Lindsay Lohan or whatever. She was like a bad girl at the time, but she came and talked to me and I believed in her. And I was like, I want to work with you. So Gun Crazy was like a real labor of love. And I shot it with my longtime DP, Lisa Rinsler. And just, it was like a indie film. And I got like it was on film festivals and indie circuit and really critically accepted. CB4, I had a relationship with Chris and Nelson George. I directed a couple of things for Chris Rock. I directed a PSA for him and a music video for him. And so Chris and I got along really well and I knew Nelson George. And they brought me in on that, and that was like a film at Universal originally. And even though it got distributed through Universal, we kind of made it like not through the studio, so it was kind of indie made, but distributed through Universal. And like, that was like totally different. Like maybe the budget, I don't even know what the budget was. It was probably still under 10 million, but that was like quite different than Gun Crazy. But it was similar to all the stuff that I've done, because it was, it was like a mock documentary style, and it was a lot of musical performances. And, so I knew how to stage those musical performances. I knew how to do comedy in a sense, because I don't know, I kind of grew up with comedy. My grandfather was a comedy writer, so I had like comedy skills. And just, I don't know, I Chris and I got along so well. We just, I don't know, we just had a lot of fun making that. So it was very different though. So it was, I guess it was longer shoots, way more crew, way more cast, and yeah, complicated, but still every day you had to still make the best of your day and make sure everybody's happy. Yeah.
Very true.
Yeah. But
so how'd you get over to Katori and PValley?
I mean, honestly, with Katori's, I got the script. They sent, I was doing a lot of episodic television. I'll do pilots, but I was really kind of focused on episodic television, because my kids were at this time like teenagers, so I still didn't want to do a feature. I was like, man, doing a feature just takes way too much time out of my schedule for these kids. So episodic is faster. For like a female, you could like be in and out of a show or a job in like 2 to 3 weeks. So you can do a job and then you can go back to being a mom. So,
yeah.
But these are choices that I love to have as a woman. I don't want anybody to determine those choices for me. Like if I want to work all the time, that should be my choice. If I don't want to work all the time, that should be my choice. If I want to have a baby, that should be my choice. If I don't want to have a baby, that should be my choice.
Okay, exactly. Choice, your choice.
My choice. So, for my choice as a working mom, I wanted to work and then not work, not work. So that when I didn't work, I would just be full-time mom. And I really enjoyed that kind of schedule. So so I would get scripts in, and I read this script for her pilot, and she was an unknown, it was just Katori Hall, Pussy Valley, it said. And I read it and I was like, oh my God, who is this writer? And, Katori Hall just, nothing had been made. Nobody had shot any. It was like unknown. And I looked her up and I was like, whoa, she's legit. Like, she's a legit playwright. She has like, because I just was at first blown away by the writing. That's all you can go by as a director at that stage. So I read it and I was like, I would do anything to work with this woman. Like, she's brilliant. I love that. So I said to my agents, I was like, oh, I want to do this. I don't care that she's never done a show before, that she's never, nothing. I was like, whoever this woman is, she's brilliant and a genius, and I want to be part of it. And so I was so grateful that I did an interview with her, and she asked me like 1 billion questions, which I loved. She was trying to learn the whole thing herself, which was really awesome. So she didn't come on and be like, even though I don't know anything, I'm going to act like I know everything and like whatever, which I've seen people do. Instead, she came on and she just wanted to ask 1 million questions and really, try to figure out the process. And one of the things that I love to do is I really try to help young filmmakers, or older filmmakers too, but I really try to help especially women out, in my job, because I have such experience. It's really helpful to have somebody else to be there to like ask about, or have a question, mentor or help or whatever. And I'm kind of a woman that like, if you have a question, I will help you out as much as I can. It's really important to me to see us succeed. And so I loved working with Katori. I got the job, and I had the best time. Just to be able to be close with her and follow her process and see how, and it was super early on, because by the time I got up there, they had shot the pilot, but they were still working on it. They were still editing it. And they had shot 2 episodes. The third one was shooting while I came up there, and I was on the 4th. So it was really early on, and while they were trying to establish the show and the look and what the show was. And it was really fantastic to be early on in that procedure.
Since you came into it so early, like, could you tell from being on set or just reading the script and being around it that it would kind of become kind of a culture shifting, must see TV kind of thing that it's starting to become now?
It's interesting because I felt that when I read it, because I was like, there's nothing like this, and there needs to be something like this, because I know that audience exists. I had done this show. I don't know if any of you guys had ever seen it, but I was the producer director on it. So I did 4 years on this show called Single Ladies.
Yeah.
I was
Once in
there.
an episode or 2, or all of them.
Yes. I was there for that show. But the audience loved that show, and it was I saw that there's an audience there, and a lot of networks, and they weren't making shows for this audience, and it really upset me, because there really is a huge audience there, and it was nice to be able to make a show that speaks to that audience in their voice, with people that they can identify with, and kind of a show that focused on women, but also in the South, and really also shows the combination of their worlds and how music combines in their worlds as well, music and fashion and whatever, and the camaraderie of the girls was really interesting to me. So I had like history from that, which I loved. And so when I came on the show, I have to say, like, it was a little bit, I think they were struggling a bit, because it was a really complicated show. It was really challenging. It was not only all the look that they were creating, but all the different actors, all the different experience of the actors. And it was just and the schedule was crazy. So anybody that had never worked on television before, like, it was beast. It was really, really hard. And I knew, so I don't know. So when I came on, I could see that the crew, they were behind, and they were kind of struggling. And I think they had a couple directors before me that didn't fulfill Katori's vision, or, work with the crew the way that I thought that, whatever, they would treat the crew the way they should be treated, or whatever. And so when I came on, part of what I love to do is just observe and sit back and listen to Katori and listen to the crew, and try to figure out what I could bring, what could they need that I could also help with. So I think that was a big part of it. And so I think that, to me, even though, like, the moment what I also talk about a lot, the moment I walked into Katori's office the first time, her vision for the show was so clear. Her entire office was plastered with images that is exactly what the show looks like now. So she had such a clear vision of exactly what she wanted the show to look like, the details, the close-ups, the colors, the look, that it was like, her vision was really clear. So it wasn't like, oh, this woman doesn't know what she's doing. She really knew what she wanted. And so it was more about trying to make sure she got what she wanted, and that feel and that look, and to do it in the schedule, which was the challenge. And so I don't know. So I think, like, that to me was the real exciting part. And my episode was so fun, but it was complicated. I had huge musical numbers, and I had fight sequences, and I had this was a really big episode. And I was like, huge. But I loved it, and we completed on time, and we even shot stuff for other episodes. We just had the best time. And and it was also something that I was able to come on and show everybody that the crew was great. It wasn't like, oh, you don't have a good crew. The crew knew exactly what they were supposed to do. It's the vision and the director and the collaboration with Katori. And like, by the end of my episode, they were right on schedule, and we did a great job and the episode turned out great. And it's really helpful and gives the crew also a lot of confidence to feel like, oh, you know, we do know what we're doing. You know, we are professionals. We can get the job done in the time that we need. We just needed somebody in there that had a really clear vision.
Mm-hmm.
So were there people in your immediate circles that were maybe telling you not to do it because this is someone that's never done television before? This is a crew maybe that's never worked before. Were there people telling you, I don't know if I would take that chance?
No, I mean, I'm so grateful that a while ago, I left all the big agencies. I'm like, I don't want to be at UTA or CAA or any of those things. I have like different weird ways that I like to work. I don't like somebody to tell me something like that. If I like it, I want a crew and a team around me that supports that, because I do weird things. I'll do different kinds of jobs. If I get inspired, I'm like, oh my God, I want to work with this person. So I am with an agency called Verve, and if I like something, they'll 100% support it. So that was, so it's really more my risk, you know, of like, oh, do you want to go on a set that's this complicated and work with somebody that's never done this before? One thing that she had on her set that was, I knew her production designer. I worked with him before, that guy, Jeffrey. And Jeffrey Pratt Gordon.
Mm-hmm.
He and I worked together, and I love him. And I just was like, oh, I know that my sets are gonna, if you go on that show, like Jeffrey is gonna like turn it up on those sets. Like he did The Wire, you know, like he knows how to go deep and really textured.
Oh, okay.
And, so I got to work with him. And I think I worked with him on Single Ladies. That's how I knew him. I'm trying to think of what other jobs I worked with him on, but I saw his name on the crew list, and I was like, yes. And I also knew Richard, the DP, and on my episode,
oh my God, so good, so amazing.
Yeah, Richard is just absolutely amazing.
Oh, his vision, the colors
with him, the colors, and Richard and I just like got along like this, and we knew that we could do it. We were just like, we got this. And so I think like I didn't have anybody say like, oh, don't do it. It was more like, yeah, this is cool. It's like a little show. It wasn't like, oh, this is a big prestige thing. It was more like, I'm sure this sounds cool. You know, this is an interesting writer. If you're interested, we would love you. Yeah. So I didn't. Yeah.
I love that. I absolutely love that.
I love that. Okay. All righty.
So the talk on Twitter for me, like last night we rewatched the episode, and I go through tweets and look at what people are saying about the episode. And the talk very much about this episode was the directing and the photography.
Oh, beautiful.
So like, how do you and the DP come to like make it look like something like we've never seen? Like some of the visuals of this episode, I'm not sure I've seen anything that looked like that on television before I watched this episode. How do you get there? What is the relationship and the communication like between the two of you to get to that?
You know, obviously, here's where it started. It started with me really listening to Katori, because that vision is hers. Like those images come from Katori. Like I looked at her wall, I listened to her vision, and you know, what an incredible set and the locations and the actors. So, you know, I don't know, I just, for myself, like if I can push the imagery, if you let me do that, they let me as well. So I got to really come up with like beautiful, like, you know, like widen it out, bring a scope, like really, you know, see how this world looks. And also just, you know, it's really random, but right before I did this, sometimes I like working with contrasts. When you see contrast, it helps you define the differences. And so, and really lean into what is unique and different about something, especially if you see the contrast. Like sometimes you don't know what black is unless you've been white, or, you know, where white is. You know, what's the, you know, you can't see nature unless you've been inside a white room. You know, it's like, how do you see the contrasts of stuff? And And right before the show, I had directed the pilot and the first 3 episodes of High School Musical, the series, which is like the most opposite show you could probably direct, you know?
Yeah.
I was
You
like,
got a habit of that.
Yeah. That juxtaposition and shows.
Yeah, it was like I was watching like little kids singing and dancing and stuff, and like super cute, clean cut, you know. And so I went from that to flying from Salt Lake City, Utah to Atlanta, and then arriving on the set at PValley. And I was in shock. I was like, oh my God. First of all, I couldn't see a thing. I walked in there. It was like so dark. My eyes were like, I couldn't see a thing. I was like, what is going on in here? Like, I can't see anything. So dark. No, and like even to watch the show, you have to be in a dark room. It's dark.
It's dark.
The thing. My eyes have to adjust. And then everybody started speaking, and I was like, what are they saying? I couldn't understand a word anybody was saying. I was like, I had to look at the script because I was like, and I felt like I was listening to Shakespeare, because when you do whenever you like watch a Shakespeare play or like go to Shakespeare, you don't understand anything for like the first like 5-10 minutes. What they're speaking in another language. I don't get it. And then after a while, your ear starts to adjust and you start to hear the words and you get it. But at first I was like, oh my God, I can't see anything. I can't hear. I was like, but I think in that contrast of dipping into that world and seeing like a totally different world. Like I have a photo of myself, like just standing in a hallway, and Mercedes is walking away from me, and it's just her ass in the hallway. Backstage, and I'm like, it's just her ass. I was like, that's it. Like, the show is like that. And so like, even in the show, I got to do that great shot of her ass. And I was like, I know that ass. Like, that is the most ass I've ever seen. Like, and you realize that that's important, you know, like that's very important. So, and embracing that and understanding that. I don't know.
Yeah.
I get it. Like, I have to say, like, it took me back to the ladies that that there was a moment with okay, wait, I gotta get my single. Who is it? It's Keisha. Okay, but her real Lisa Ray. Okay.
Lisa Ray. Yeah, I was fixing to. Yeah, Lisa Ray.
Lisa Ray, who back before this show was legendary for having like the best asses in the world. Like she had jeans. She was like, every picture I saw of Lisa Ray was like this incredible shot of her butt. And then there was a time I was shooting a sex scene with her, like a love making scene in the show. And usually you have to like, it's only me usually in a room, and I have to like crouch behind the corner or whatever. And there was like one time I had to come around to get to my room, and I had to open a door, and I opened the door, and she's like on the bed, hands and knees, and and she looks back over her shoulder at me. And so I had the view that a guy would get. And I was like, oh my God, I get it. I'm like, I get it.
Light bulb moment.
I was like, light bulb moment. I was like, oh yeah, this makes total sense.
Oh my God.
Oh, that is hilarious.
And I duck into my little corner, like behind where, to direct. And I was like, I get it.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Listen, Tamra, on that note, because her ass, I think we'll take a little pause, a little break
for a little sponsor.
Okay, good.
Hey, Pink Posse, make sure you're tapping into Pink Sunday Radio every Sunday at 3 p.m. Eastern, live on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. Follow us on all of our platforms so you never miss an episode.
Yay.
Oh my goodness. That was so hilarious. Okay, so John, you wanted to ask a question.
I feel like I want to ask my question a little bit later because we just got to that good fun part.
That's fine.
You know what? No, I just thought of it. Okay, because I had a serious question that was going to get us down into some serious stuff. But let me come back to this. So I was like to say, what was your favorite moment to work on in 104? Like, was there something that was just,
she had so many amazing moments that were so juicy in there for me. But I have to say that there were two big moments that really meant a lot to me. One was the incredible sequence of Mississippi dancing, like creating that sequence, because I think it was one of the big dance moments in the show that really kind of showed the athleticism, the art, her view, what she felt, from her perspective, and creating that dance sequence, which involved 4 performers. It wasn't just,
wow,
it was really complicated. So I had to really work that at like an action sequence out, because there's her double, there's her, there's the stunt woman, and then there's a dance, so there's like, it was complicated. Yeah. So there's different people playing, but it all obviously looks like her. So that putting that together was really complicated and beautiful. And I was really proud with how it came out. And my other most favorite moment has to be, what's his name in the show?
Oh my God, Murder.
Oh my God, Little Murder, and his performance, and especially his performance out on the street was just he killed me. Like his acting, like I just lost it. I was like, dude, you are such a talented actor. I was like, you're one of the most incredible actors I've ever worked with. Like he went deep. And I know it was interesting because it was an early episode, and I know with him that he was playing a gay man and he wasn't gay. And so it was really like he had to really trust myself and Katori, and to really go there. And I just thought his performance was insane. And like, so that to be able to work with him and get that performance in those early days from him, where he had to break through and be okay with playing that character, to the authenticity that he brought to it, and understand that he was doing something that was really hard for him, and try to make him feel that where he was going was incredible, because he is an incredible actor and really professional. I think that was also huge for me.
I think that's kind of like sort of a segue into my question, like with the director's treatment of an episode, do you take each character and break down their treatment? You talk about Alphonse and the character of Murda, and you knew where that storyline was going. Like, how do you break down that monumental scene? I mean, because like you said, he's not in real life, but where you have to go. Like, what treatment plan do you have?
It's in all honesty, because when you're working on a TV show, everything is all broken up. It's not like, oh, you shoot it in sequence. So I don't remember when we shot things, but I mean, I'm hoping we didn't shoot their sex scene before we shot some of those other scenes, but like, it might have been all mixed up. So you really have to open it up and be able to go different places. Like in the afternoon, you'd be like, oh, in the morning we shot this, but in the afternoon we're going here.
Right.
So, it's really challenging. And, I think like for me, I really try to do as much preparation as possible on the technical side, as far as like where I put my camera, because that determines how the lighting works and how Richard does the lighting and what angles I'm going to shoot and things like that. So I really try to get all of that is taken care of before the day that we're shooting. So you know, like knowing that we're going to track with him up that line where he's acting really gangster style, where he has that like his bravado with his guys, like, you know, how he feels that character part of him, you know, and knowing that, you know, that when he sees Uncle Clifford at the door, how to play those moments, you know, like every one of those moments you have opportunities to know where a character is, but what the underlying things are. And when you get to work with professionals, they really like that you're aware of that and you're aware of those moments. And I think that was actually the first time he did that thing. You know, I was like,
Yep.
Yes, it was the first time.
Oh my God. And I was like, what's that? What's that? What's that? But it's like, you know, so, but making sure he knows that he could do weird things like, they're not weird, but little things like that, that make him character and make him who he is, and be like, yeah, what was that? That was crazy. I don't know what that is. What does that mean? Like, that's so cool. Do that again. Like, what is that? You know, like, I noticed that. I see you. I see that you did something that I've never seen before. What is that? That's unique. Let's do that. You know what I mean? And he feels heard. He feels seen. Oh, she does that. She knows that nobody else does that. That's me. So, you know, doing all those little moments and get him to that place. So I feel like when you work with an actor that does that, you can really play with them. It's like having an athlete, you know. You know, you're like, okay, we're going to try this step, you know, or we're going to try this move, you know, and when they're really good at what they do, they'll do those steps with you. And you know, you have to be a good teacher to get them to go there, and they have to really trust you. And if you can do that, you can take them to those places. So I just was really grateful. And I think also Katori, because it was early on, she was there a lot with me in some of those sensitive scenes, or she would pop in and, you know, give me the thumbs up and be like, okay, where I want to, that's what I want to do. But, you know, she was also really busy in the edit room a lot of times. But those were awesome. And also, you know, Uncle Clifford, you know, he was so good and also so professional, and he had such history with Katori as well, with all the plays and work that they did together. So I felt like a safe environment, you know, with Bridget and I, and, you know, like, I feel like it was safe. And we also, all the crew goes away when we do things like that. You know, it's like, it's really important to make sure that you you feel safe. It's really important.
I agree with that. So Tamra, we have some interview questions. A couple, because, you know, Pink Posse loves when we bring on guests, so they definitely want to give a little their opinions. So I think we'll have the first one.
Hi, Tamra. My question is concerning the writer's strike and the DGA negotiations. There's rumors that the DGA could cut a sweetheart deal. If they were to do that, do you feel that could undercut the WGA or possibly cause friction between the two unions?
So interesting. You know, I feel like the things that the directors want that's kind of their own thing, you know, and I think that where the directors, and I'm not part of the negotiations or anything, so I don't really know, but the only thing I heard is they really want to let the writers go first and make sure the writers are getting all the things that they want, or like make sure the writers are getting their demands met. But I do know that the directors have been negotiating with the producers, and you know, and there's certain things that they're trying to get, and, you know, but I really don't feel like I think it's different stuff. I think like they're trying to get another day for a 1 hour, which on this show, that would have been so helpful, because, you know, also because Tori really, I have no, you know, first season, I think she did, second season, she wanted to hire only women, which was amazing. But in hiring only women, she got a lot of women that didn't have a lot of experience, which was really challenging. And so to do that kind of a schedule would have really helped a lot of these young women out, or women that didn't have that amount of experience. Giving them an extra day would have been really helpful. Because the thing is it is a job that you experience really helps. And unless we get these women and these diverse women and diverse people in front of the, in these positions, they're not that experience. And once they get that experience, if we put them in situations that make it almost impossible, they're not going to work again. And so to me, that's really important. And that's something that I think is really important for making sure that there's this new group of people that kind of come up after all what's happened in the past.
Yeah, I agree, because this morning it came out that Directors Guild reaches tentative deal with studios and streamers. So, and we got that question yesterday, and then this happened today. So it's like, that's crazy. So thank you so much for adding your sense on that.
That's roughly where my question was going.
Things. I think some of it's similar. I think, in all honesty, I know that in the beginning we all made these DGA and WA deals and the streamers were like, oh, we're just like these little side things. Like we're just, and all the money, if you did a network show, like that's where the money came from. And, and that's why a lot of directors really just tried to only do network shows, because you would get so much more pay. But putting more pay into the streamers is going to really help out, because obviously they're making a ton of money, but it also puts more talent into kind of more shows. And I think that's really important.
I agree. So we have another question by Pink Posse member George.
See, this is George. A question for Director Davis. The scene with Uncle Clifford and Little Murder is so realistic and so intimate. How in the world was that even blocked? Was it rehearsed? Was it scripted as shot? Was it made up along the way? It was so realistic, especially the scene with the spits. What was it like to film and to create that scene, and how long did it actually take?
Thank you. That was a really intense scene. Anytime you're doing a love scene or, these kinds of intimacy scenes, they're really, it's really important for me that the people involved feel very heard and safe. In shows like Single Ladies, or I did another show called Hit the Floor. And I did a lot of shows and I did a show called Star.
Yes.
Star was amazing. So I got to work a lot of times with young women and doing love scenes with these young women. I wanted them to feel that there was a voice behind the camera that supported them, protected them, and if they felt ever weird or anything, they could always come to me. So I learned a lot from that, and I really wanted to make sure that Alphonse Little Murder felt safe in that scene, because it was a really awkward scene for him, and I wanted to make sure he felt safe, down to I remember I took it from an episode of Star. Girls, she was doing a love scene in there, and she came privately to me and she was like, Tamra, when he's on top of me, could you please tell him to wear a cup, because I can feel his junk hitting against me in this scene and it makes me feel really uncomfortable.
Okay.
I was like, thank you for telling me that. And I took the wardrobe person and, nobody knew what was going on. The dude the back, he put a cup on, he went back to the scene and shot it. And she felt heard, she felt protected, had a voice there. And so I made sure that Uncle Clifford had a cup on to make sure that, and also Little Murder, I made sure they felt that they had protection on, so that they felt comfortable with that. The other thing was, in blocking that scene, I block love scenes. It's all blocked beforehand, like a dance. So I had all of that worked out. I knew I wanted that jukebox scene because I knew the lighting there would be freaking amazing,
Yes.
really cool looking. So I was like, oh, that looks really good. the spit came from Alphonse Little Murder. That was from him. He had that idea. He's like, what can I spit on? Like spit down like that. I was like, hell yeah. I was like, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So he came up with that. So, it's like, and that's when, like when they can add things that they feel comfortable with. Like,
yeah.
Came up with
Probably
the
did
idea
some research
to rip the fishnets. He's like, no, you're not going to pull them down. You're going to rip them. And I was
You
like,
better work, Alphonse. He knows
that's
what
why we love him like
he
we do.
knows.
Where Alphonse was cool with that. I was like, are you okay with that? Are you okay doing that? Is that going to be okay? You know what I'm saying? So each of those moments are discussed, talked about, listened to,
I love
heard.
that.
Yeah. And so that both of those performers felt heard, listened to, contribute. Like it's like I compare it a lot to dancing, because it's like if you're working with a professional dancer and you tell them a step and they're like, hey, what if I add this? You're like, yes, that, and then it starts to get more real and real, because you give them the general idea and then they start to fill it in with things that make it like feel good to them. And and I'm open and listening. I'm not saying this is exactly what you do. This is a general idea. I feel like you guys go here and then take it over here to the desk, because I got a camera set up here and I want this angle and this angle, and this will be lower than the frame, so I won't know really what's going on. All that is prearranged and designed, and it's not, hey, let's go in the room and see what happens. It was like really blocked out. But I still, I probably only had like, I don't know, maybe 3 hours to shoot that scene. Like it was fast, and I'm shooting different. Every time you shoot in a direction, it's like an hour, because all the cameras and all that. You turn the set, you rebuild it, and you all have to shoot everything. And so it's like it takes an hour basically each direction you film in. So I had to really plan out. I only had like a couple directions, and then it's into the close-ups. And I had a couple cameras in there, and just cleared that set away. And that was also Katori. When she showed it to me cut together, I honestly started crying when I saw this scene, because I just was so moved. Her intercutting the dance, I was like, whoa, that was done in the edit room. It was not that way in the script or in my director's cut. She showed me what she did and how she took that action and kept cutting back and forth. I was like, what? So I just was, so to me, I thought like, I gave her all this amazing stuff in the performances, and really Katori creates a show out of that. It was so beautiful to see what she was inspired by.
Wow. I love that so much. And I just want to thank you, Tamra, for joining us today. Like,
of course,
I am full and then satisfied with everything. I just appreciate you so much. Please tell us any upcoming projects you have. Let the people know where they can.
After Party coming. That TV show After Party.
Oh my God!
I love that show. It's on Apple TV.
Yeah, I got to work with Tiffany Haddish, which is my favorite. Like I was like,
she did an incredible job in that.
Oh, she's so good. And on this one, I got to do I did 2 episodes. I did her standalone episode. So I got to really work with her, and that was amazing. And then I did the finale, and that was incredible as well. And the actors on that show are fantastic. And so I have that coming. I think that comes out in July.
Okay. And any socials? Because you're not anywhere. You're on Instagram. Anywhere else?
No, I just like here and there. I'm not here on socials yet. Yeah, I let you guys do that stuff. I'm like,
okay.
I don't really promote myself as much as like I'm just so grateful that I get to work with these incredibly talented people, and I'm just like, I still follow everybody on it because I love love all their I love all the people that I got to work with on that show.
I love that.
Yeah, like Brandy is like, she and I go way back because we're old like Los Angeles people. And while she's insane. I love her.
Yeah, she did give when we were promoting, she did say that she loves you. So just to let you know, she did say that she loves you. Yes.
I think
she was that was incredible. That fight scene with her mom and like
oh my God.
Oh my God. Like and that church stuff. I mean, that episode was insane. I was like,
oh yeah.
Sick. Yeah.
Whenever I rewatch this episode, I'm always like, so much happens.
A lot happens.
From it's and like you said, like even before you said today, every time I watch them, like there's so like these scenes to shoot in an episode of a television show, all of these different elements, and every time I watch it, I was like, I know directing that had to be bonkers.
A lot.
And then I recreated the whole flood thing. That appears in the pilot, because that didn't exist. Like that whole part, and I was like, "Where'd she get all this stuff from?" Like, and so we took an old stream, and we made a whole with the suitcase and the whole thing. Yeah, we created that whole thing. I was like,
wow.
Well, before I close this out, I know Ja had one last question for you.
Y'all know me. Y'all bear with me. So we were talking about the other scene, and we were talking about some of this was like, I think this is a great idea. So we've all talked about the ass slap moment. We wanted I wasn't going to say nothing. I was like, you know what? I'm glad we moved along, but I brought it up. So was that kind of like another kind of thing? Like, I think this is where this would go. Was it supposed to be that hard? Like, is it only just that hard to us? Is that the sound effects? Like, because we really have a good time on the timeline with that scene in general. But also we were like, that like, wow. That
was a lot. That was like for real. I was like, are you like, and that's also those moments that you're like, do I have to say, like, do I have to cut and be like, are you okay with that? Like, he just did that. Yeah.
Oh, so was it an actual slap?
Yeah.
Because it kind of looked like Uncle Clifford was like, no, wait.
That's what we always say.
And Tia would say, wait a minute.
Because that's like, that just, it doesn't say slap his ass. That just,
so what that I mean? I told y'all it was improv.
You said that.
I said there was no way that could be improv.
Yes. I don't remember, but I do remember sitting there listening, going, oh no. Like, do I need to cut and be like, are you okay with that? Like, I don't know, like, because all those things should be discussed beforehand, like, I'm going to slap you. Like nowadays, I think they had it or maybe they didn't, but nowadays, like, because I've shot intimacies since then, they have intimacy coordinators, and I'm sure they have them on there, but that's something that you're discussed with an intimacy coordinator. So he might have said, like, I'm going to give you a light slap or something, and I'm sure Katori added to it, but like they're in the moment, that has to feel authentic, and they're acting but they're
so
like in the moment.
And it was perfect, to be honest.
It's the highlight of the scene for me.
What's funny is most of the stuff that we point out, the ass slap, the spits, the tearing, like these are things every time we watch this talk about. So the fact that Nico and Alphonse literally came up with those,
that's perfect.
Their chemistry on camera is insane.
Yeah. And I feel like that was when you work on shows. I've done a couple of shows where I've done like in the first episodes, you have an opportunity then to really work with the actors, and it all starts to really come together by then. It's like the first episodes are really like hard at first, like, because they're, they're trying to find who their character is and things like that. And I feel like by the time you get to the third or fourth episode, people have it down a bit more. So,
Wow.
Thank you so much. We are so happy that this was even better than I can imagine.
I know.
Watching it last night, everything was so fresh. So I'm going to close this out. I'm Tia. Minnie is Max on Twitter.
Much, you guys. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good day. Bye.
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 So I'm going to close this out. I'm Tia, Minius Max on Twitter, and Tia Down in the Valley on Instagram. Make sure that you are looking at our Twitter because that's where everything comes first. But have those notifications on because these episodes are live and you don't want to miss it. Ja, what you got?
All right, I am Ja_the_goddess on Instagram, Ja the Goddess, all one word on Twitter. And keep your FBI eyes open. We know you saw the ad earlier. We're doing Noah's Ark bonus content, and that pops up roughly around Thursday, Friday-ish. So be on the lookout. Tanika?
I am at your girl Jiggy on Twitter and Instagram. You can follow me over there if you don't already. You can also follow Pink Sunday Radio on Instagram. If you're looking for those bonus episodes that Ja was just talking about, you can find those on pinksundayradio.com. While you're on, that takes you to Apple Podcasts. And while you're on Apple Podcasts, if you can leave us a 5-star written review, we would really appreciate it. If you're watching this live right now on YouTube, we would really appreciate if you follow us on subscribe, I think it's called, on YouTube, and turn that notification bell on so you don't miss any of these lives. Kogi, what do you got to tell them?
I'm on IG and Twitter, Kogi_mama. We're also, well, I was going to say Twitch. Okay, but we're streaming live on Twitch, but you can also follow us at TikTok. We're going to put new content on there. We do have a website, pinksunday.com. And we just want to thank you guys for coming, and we'll be back next week.
Pink Sunday Radio.